Anyone who's ever tried to lose weight knows that the hardest part isn't the workouts or giving up sweets. It's the constant hunger. You can count calories, eat less, follow every rule, and still, at some point, your body fights back. Your energy drops, your mood changes, and all you can think about is food. You hold out for a while, then one night, you find yourself standing in front of the fridge, telling yourself, "I'll start again tomorrow." That's how most people get stuck in a loop. We think losing weight is supposed to feel miserable, that it's all about discipline and denial. But the truth is, it's not just about calories. It's about how your brain understands food. Our bodies were never built for dieting. For thousands of years, humans struggled with scarcity, not excess. So when you suddenly cut back on food, your body goes into survival mode. Your metabolism slows down, your energy drops, and your brain starts to panic, pushing you to eat. It doesn't care whether you're trying to get abs or stuck in a famine. It reacts the same way: protect, conserve, survive. That's why most diets fail. Not because people are weak, but because biology always wins. You can't suppress hunger forever, but you can trick it. There's a group of foods that can make you feel full without adding many calories. They take up space in your stomach, trigger those same "I'm full" signals in your brain, but don't overload your body with energy. These foods don't make weight loss harder. They make it possible. The key isn't starvation. It's density. How many calories a food contains per gram. A spoonful of peanut butter and a bowl of cucumber are both food, but your stomach sees them differently. It feels full from volume, not numbers. When your stomach stretches, it tells your brain you've eaten enough, even if what you ate had very few calories. That's why you can feel satisfied after a big bowl of veggies, but still hungry after a small snack bar. This is what's called volume eating, eating more food with less energy. It's how you stay in a calorie deficit without feeling miserable, and that's where today's topic begins. There are certain foods that you can eat almost without limits. They fill you up, support your body, and help you lose weight naturally. No gimmicks, no starvation. We're not talking about miracle superfoods or expensive supplements, just simple everyday foods you can find anywhere, the kind that make your life easier instead of harder. These are the foods that make a diet sustainable. They're the small, smart choices that help you stay consistent. Because at the end of the day, progress doesn't come from suffering. It comes from strategy. And in this video, we'll go through 5 of those foods, the ones that really work, that help you stay full, stay focused, and keep moving forward without the constant battle with hunger. Number 5, seaweed. Seaweed takes 5th place on our list, and it's probably one of the most underrated foods when it comes to staying in shape. Most people don't think of it as something worth adding to their diet, but in reality, it's one of the simplest and smartest tools for managing weight. 100 grams of seaweed contains only about 10 to 20 calories. That's practically nothing. Your body spends almost the same amount of energy digesting it as it gets in return. But the real power of seaweed isn't just in its low calories, it's in what it gives back. Seaweed is rich in iodine, an essential mineral for your thyroid, the tiny gland that controls your metabolism. When your thyroid works properly, your body burns energy efficiently. But when it's sluggish, losing weight becomes a struggle no matter how little you eat. Including natural sources of iodine helps keep that system running smoothly, so your metabolism doesn't slow to a crawl. Seaweed is also packed with fiber, the kind that expands when it hits your stomach, making you feel full for longer. Think of it as a sponge. It absorbs water, takes up space, and helps regulate digestion. That same fiber also slows down the absorption of fats and sugars, helping to keep your energy and appetite steady throughout the day. And that's not all. Seaweed contains compounds called alginates that may help bind some of the fats you eat, allowing your body to process them more easily. It's a natural balancing act, not a magic trick, but a small advantage that adds up over time. If you look at cultures that eat seaweed regularly, places like Japan or South Korea, you'll notice something interesting. Obesity rates there are consistently lower than in most Western countries. Of course, that's not only because of seaweed, but it's a reminder that simple, low-calorie, nutrient-dense foods play a big role in how people maintain balance without strict dieting. Seaweed is also loaded with trace minerals: calcium, magnesium, potassium, iron, zinc. These are things your body craves when you start eating less. Sometimes, those sudden cravings for salty or fatty foods aren't about willpower. They're your body asking for minerals it's missing. Adding seaweed can quietly fill those gaps and reduce those cravings before they even start. The best part? You don't have to eat it plain. It's not just sushi or seaweed salad anymore. You can add it to soups, mix it with rice, or use it as a seasoning. Even small portions go a long way. There's only one thing to keep in mind: moderation. Too much iodine isn't healthy either, so you don't need it every day. Just a few servings a week are enough to get the benefits. Seaweed is a great example of how simple foods can quietly support your goals. It doesn't promise miracles. It doesn't replace effort, but it helps your body work with you instead of against you. It fills you up, nourishes you, and keeps your metabolism on your side. That's why it opens our list, because staying in shape isn't just about eating less. It's about choosing foods that make it easier to stay consistent. Number 4, mushrooms. Fourth on our list, mushrooms. Probably the most down-to-earth food here, literally and figuratively. They're not fancy, not expensive, and you can find them almost anywhere. But they give you something that most people lose when they start dieting: the feeling of eating real food. When you eat mushrooms, your brain reacts to them almost like it does to meat. It's because of a special flavor called umami, that deep, savory taste that makes food feel satisfying. It tells your brain, yes, this is a meal. That's why mushrooms are such a cheat code for anyone trying to eat less without feeling deprived. You get the same psychological fullness, but for just about 20 calories per 100 grams. Mushrooms are an interesting mix of plant-like and protein-rich properties. They contain fiber, which slows digestion and helps you feel full longer, and a modest amount of protein, enough to support your body during calorie restriction. They're also full of B vitamins, essential for your metabolism, energy, and mood. That matters more than people realize, because when you cut calories, your body gets stressed. Those nutrients help you stay balanced and focused. Another advantage: mushrooms have a minimal impact on blood sugar. They don't cause energy spikes or sudden hunger crashes. That makes them perfect for keeping your appetite stable throughout the day. Physiologically, they're the ideal food for anyone on a diet. They're dense, they feel heavy, they fill your stomach, but they add almost no calories. You chew them, you get texture, flavor, satisfaction, all the sensory signals of eating, but without the weight of a heavy meal. And psychologically, that's huge. One of the hardest parts of losing weight is that constant feeling that you're missing out. You start craving the experience of eating something rich or hearty, not necessarily the calories themselves. Mushrooms solve that problem. You eat them and your brain relaxes. Okay, we're good. We had a real meal. Some studies even show that when people replace part of their meat intake with mushrooms, they stay full longer and are less likely to snack afterward. It's not magic. It's just the right combination of texture, fiber, and flavor. The best part is how versatile they are. You can fry them, grill them, bake them, toss them into soups or omelets, and they always stay low in calories. Even with a drop of oil, they remain one of the most diet-friendly foods out there. They also contain antioxidants and compounds that support your immune system. Another thing that's important when you're eating in a deficit and your body's under more stress. Some people call mushrooms empty food, but that's not true. They may not have a ton of macronutrients, but they play a vital supporting role, helping you stay satisfied, energized, and in control. They fill the gap between light salads and heavy meals, making your diet feel more human. In short, mushrooms are the diet version of comfort food. They give you that cozy, hearty feeling without the calories. They let you enjoy your meals and still make progress. That's why they earn the number 4 spot, because they make healthy eating feel normal again. Number 3, celery and cabbage. In third place, we have celery and cabbage, two of the simplest, cheapest, and most effective foods you can use when trying to stay full without overdoing the calories. They're not trendy, they're not exotic, but they've earned their place as the foundation of almost every successful diet plan out there. When you start eating less, the first thing you miss isn't sugar or bread. It's the feeling of fullness. Your brain doesn't count calories. It reacts to how stretched your stomach is. That stretch is what tells it, I'm satisfied. Celery and cabbage are perfect for that. They're made mostly of water and fiber, so they take up space in your stomach and trigger the same signal as a big meal, without actually giving you many calories. 100 grams of these vegetables contains just around 15 to 25 calories. You can eat an entire bowl of salad and still barely make a dent in your daily intake. But your body doesn't know that. It just feels full. That's the secret behind what's called volume eating, eating large portions that don't overload your system. On top of that, both of these vegetables support digestion. The fiber they contain helps your intestines work smoothly, keeping things moving and preventing that heavy, bloated feeling that often comes with dieting. When you cut calories, your metabolism can slow down and digestion can suffer. These vegetables help keep everything in balance. Celery, in particular, has a few unique benefits. It contains natural essential oils that give it its fresh, crisp taste and lightly stimulate digestion. Some even call it a food with negative calories, not because it burns fat, but because your body spends nearly as much energy digesting it as it gains from it. Cabbage, on the other hand, is loaded with vitamins, especially vitamin C, folate, and B vitamins, nutrients your body desperately needs when you're eating less. There's also a compound called tartaric acid that may help slow the conversion of carbohydrates into fat. Again, not a miracle, but a nice bonus from a humble vegetable. Psychologically, these foods do something incredibly valuable. They make you feel like you're eating real portions. You can fill a plate, chew, take your time, all the rituals that make a meal feel satisfying. That's something a protein shake or a snack bar just can't replace. They're also versatile. You can make soups, stews, salads, or even wraps using cabbage leaves. Celery can be eaten raw, blended into smoothies, or cooked into any dish. They fit into any diet, any culture, any kitchen. Another underrated benefit, they help reduce water retention. Because they're high in potassium and low in sodium, they naturally balance your body's fluids, helping you feel lighter and more energetic. You could say celery and cabbage are the quiet heroes of healthy eating. They don't look special, but they do the heavy lifting, helping you stay full, stay regular, and stay on track. They're the base layer, the foundation that makes everything else possible. While some foods are clever hacks, these are the essentials. They let you eat plenty, feel satisfied, and still lose weight without stress or guilt. With them, a diet stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like just eating smart. That's why they take the number 3 spot, not because they're flashy, but because they always work. Number 2, shirataki noodles. In second place, shirataki noodles. These might just be one of the most fascinating foods ever invented. They look like pasta, they feel like pasta, but nutritionally, they're almost nothing like it. 100 grams of shirataki contain around 10 to 15 calories. That's it. For comparison, regular pasta has about 350. The difference is massive. The secret lies in what they're made from, konjac root, a plant that grows in parts of Asia. The main component is called glucomannan, a type of soluble fiber that absorbs water and expands in your stomach. It takes up space, makes you feel full, and yet adds almost no calories. It's like eating volume instead of energy. That's why shirataki is often called a zero-calorie food. You can have a full plate of noodles, feel like you just ate a proper meal, and still stay completely within your calorie goals. It's perfect for those moments when you want something satisfying but don't want to break your deficit, especially for dinner, when hunger tends to hit the hardest. There's another benefit too. Glucomannan helps slow the absorption of sugars and fats in your digestive system. That means more stable blood sugar levels, fewer cravings, and less of that post-meal crash that often leads to snacking later. What's funny is that in Japan, shirataki has been a staple for centuries. It's not a trend there, just normal food. But in the West, it became popular only recently, as people started realizing that it's a perfect fit for low-carb and calorie-conscious diets. It's one of those rare times when a food trend is actually based on something that works. If you're trying it for the first time, don't expect it to taste like wheat pasta. It has almost no flavor, and that's actually the point. Shirataki noodles absorb whatever you cook them with: sauces, spices, vegetables, anything. They're a blank canvas that makes healthy meals feel comforting and familiar. There's also a psychological element here. When people diet for a long time, they start missing the experience of eating, the warmth, the texture, the act of chewing something that feels hearty. Shirataki brings that back. It tricks your brain into thinking you've had a full meal, and that can make all the difference when you're trying to stay consistent. Of course, moderation still matters. Since these noodles are almost pure fiber, too much at once can cause a bit of discomfort. But in normal portions, they're perfectly safe and incredibly effective. Shirataki noodles are a reminder that staying in shape doesn't have to mean giving up the foods you love. It's about being smart, swapping out what holds you back for what moves you forward. They let you eat the way you're used to, enjoy your food, and still make progress. That's why they take second place, because they bridge the gap between restriction and satisfaction, between "I can't eat that" and "I'm fine, I've got this." With shirataki, a diet stops being a struggle and starts feeling like a choice. Number 1, coffee and caffeine drinks. And finally, number 1 on our list, coffee and other caffeine-based drinks without sugar. Probably the simplest tool for controlling appetite, and one that most people already use every single day, without realizing how powerful it actually is. Coffee isn't just a drink, it's chemistry, it's psychology. It's one of the few things that can instantly change how you feel, think, and even how your body burns energy. The main player here is caffeine, a natural stimulant that wakes up your nervous system, increases dopamine and adrenaline, and makes you feel more alert and focused. When caffeine enters your system, it blocks a chemical called adenosine, the signal your brain uses to make you feel tired. That's why after a cup of coffee, you suddenly feel awake, motivated, ready to move. But beyond energy, caffeine has another effect. It suppresses appetite. For a few hours after drinking coffee, your hunger signals calm down. You simply don't feel like eating. This happens because caffeine slightly reduces the levels of ghrelin, the hormone that makes you feel hungry, and increases leptin, the hormone that tells your brain you've had enough. It's not magic. It's just biology working in your favor. Caffeine also has a mild thermogenic effect. It helps your body burn a bit more energy, even at rest. It's not huge, but over time, small things add up. That's why a lot of people find that a morning coffee or a midday espresso helps them stay sharp and naturally eat less throughout the day. Cold coffee drinks, like iced lattes or plain cold brew, add another small bonus. When you drink something cold, your body needs to warm it up, and that process burns a little bit of extra energy. Again, it's not enough to burn fat, but it's one more reason why caffeine drinks fit so well into a smart routine. The key, of course, is keeping them clean. Once you add sugar, flavored syrup, whipped cream, or heavy milk, you've turned it into dessert. If you want the benefits, stick to black coffee, espresso, or use unsweetened plant milk. And if coffee isn't your thing, the same principle works with other caffeine sources: green tea, yerba mate, even zero-calorie energy drinks. Green tea in particular adds antioxidants and catechins, which can help support your metabolism in a gentler way. But as with anything, balance matters. Too much caffeine can make you jittery, anxious, or mess with your sleep, and that ends up hurting progress instead of helping it. 2 or 3 cups a day is usually the sweet spot, enough to get the benefits without the side effects. The truth is, caffeine helps not just chemically, but emotionally. When you're dieting, there's something comforting about having a warm, familiar ritual, holding a mug, taking a sip, pausing for a moment. It feels like food, even when it isn't. That little ritual can stop a craving before it even begins. Coffee is more than just caffeine. It's structure, it's control. It gives you something to reach for when you're bored, tired, or tempted. And that's why it deserves the #1 spot, because it's simple, it's accessible, and it works. Staying in shape isn't about perfection, it's about habits. And coffee is one of those small, consistent habits that make the rest of it easier. It doesn't replace sleep, or discipline, or good nutrition, but it supports them. So, next time you reach for your morning coffee, remember, it's not just a drink. It's one more way you're keeping yourself in balance. We live in a time where being fit isn't just a goal, it's part of the culture. Every day, new diets appear online, new challenges, new miracle products that promise to change everything. Superfoods, detox teas, keto snacks, ready-made meal plans. It feels like the world has never been so full of options for anyone who wants to lose weight or get in shape. Walk into any grocery store and you'll see shelves full of healthy foods, low-fat, sugar-free, protein-packed, gluten-free, plant-based, all of them claiming to be the answer. And yet, the same question always remains. If we have all these tools, why is it still so hard to stay consistent? The truth is, no product or program can do the work for you. It's not the diet that builds discipline. It's discipline that makes the diet work. You can count every calorie, memorize your macros, know exactly what to eat and when. You can buy all the fit snacks, drink the green smoothies, follow every influencer's routine, and still find yourself eating out of stress, boredom, or habit. Because real change doesn't start with the food. It starts with mindset. All the things we talked about, shirataki noodles, mushrooms, coffee, cabbage, seaweed, they're tools, smart ones. They make things easier. They help you stay full. They keep you from giving up when hunger hits. But they're not the magic. They're the support system for the real work, the work you do inside your own head. Getting in shape starts with a decision, a clear why, not for summer, not for photos, but something deeper, to feel better, to have energy, to feel in control again. When your motivation comes from that place, food stops being a battle. It becomes a form of care. Today, there are hundreds of diet systems: keto, fasting, low-carb, plant-based, intuitive eating. Each has its pros and cons, but none of them work without consistency. And consistency doesn't mean punishment or struggle. It means calm, steady commitment. The quiet kind of discipline that doesn't rely on motivation, but on routine. A diet isn't a prison. It's an agreement you make with yourself. It's a way to listen to your body, to understand your habits, to tell the difference between real hunger and the urge to snack just because you're tired or bored. Once you get that, you realize how simple it can be. You don't need the next best diet. You just need to stick to the basics every day without drama. That's what all these simple, low-calorie foods help you do. They're not about restriction, they're about freedom. Freedom from overthinking, from guilt, from the cycle of starving and overeating. They make it easier to stay in control, to keep moving forward without constant hunger. Because in the end, staying fit isn't about perfection. It's about patterns. It's about what you do most of the time, not what you do once in a while. And the most powerful pattern you can build is showing up for yourself, even when it's boring, even when no one's watching. Most people don't fail because they don't know what to do. They fail because they stop doing it. Discipline isn't about strength. It's about stability. It's about creating habits so automatic that you don't need to negotiate with yourself anymore. You just do it. When your mindset is clear, everything else falls into place. You stop chasing motivation. You stop starting over. You find your rhythm. And suddenly, eating right doesn't feel hard anymore. It feels natural. No trainer, no app, no 30-day challenge can give you that. Only you can. But once you make that decision, the rest really does get easier. The food, the workouts, the routine, they all start to flow. Change doesn't begin on your plate. It begins in your mind. Once that part clicks, even the simplest foods, a cup of coffee, a bowl of cabbage, can become part of your success story. Because at that point, it's not about dieting. It's about living with purpose. So, yes, all these foods can help. They'll make your journey smoother, simpler, more sustainable. But in the end, the real progress starts with you, your mindset, your patience, your discipline. The rest is just a matter of time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next.